Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains of North Carolina. And tonight I'll be answering one of the most commonly asked questions I think I have from my early days here on YouTube. And that is, will the Craftsman sleeve hitch fit other makes and models of tractor? I honestly don't know the answer, which is how I've answered it for many years now. But tonight we find out, because I have this, which is a Murray Widebody LT, certainly not the type of riding mower or tractor that is designed to handle a sleeve hitch. However, it has a manual transmission and it's only been souped up mildly, and I'd like to be able to use it. And since I got such a great deal, if you watched the video a couple weeks back on all those sleeve hitches from a Sears that was going out of business, I figured, hey, why not? So this was going to be the first one to try that. Now, one thing you'll notice on the old Mutt too is I have lowered the exhaust. I don't know if you can see it on the side there. Lowered the exhaust down because I'm going to have to modify its positioning after I get this on, if I get this on. But I can tell you right off the bat, we do have some indications that with a little bit of work, it might work out. So it's going to be at an angle about like that. And it's a little wider. This sleeve hitch is a little, or the bracket here is a little wider than the actual tractor, but that's okay. I do have the main line right here hooked up, and if I can get some brackets here, which it does come with brackets, if I can get these to line up along with this, well then, we're golden. So I'm really hopeful that I managed to pull this off, because I sure would like to be able to use this as you know, as a garden tool, as well as my off-roading tool and all the other stuff that I use it for. So let's get started, okay? Okay, so it looks like it is going to work. Let me show you what I have to do, what I have done here, just to temporarily set this up. Sorry about the shaking there. Let's take a look in here. So this is the bracket. This piece right here, normally that would be flipped around and on the other side. But in order to get the distance I needed here, in order to have this fit because of the narrower channel, I flipped these around and added a bunch of oversized nuts and bolts here, or nuts, to give it space. So it's got about an inch on both sides here. And as you can see, this is just set up to test with. That one is going to fit an existing hole on both sides. It's harder to see up there, but that one right there, we'll need to drill through. So what I'm going to do is take out the battery in the battery box. That should be able to work from the inside. I'll get a nut, some washers, or a bunch of nuts, some washers, and a bolt, and I will secure the top. So then these two brackets will be here. As you can see, it's snug. It fits right up against the lip of the body here. That's not going to be an issue though. And then this I just have again for holding, but that lines up the original bolt peg hole there. So I mean, yeah. This I have not modified. I have not cut any metal in order to get this in here in place. Now, how this thing works once it's installed, it does look a little lower to the ground than perhaps some might want it to be. But you know, we got to make do. This channel is all about making do, really, and this is no exception to that. I could take a $75 tractor or a $50 tractor or a free tractor, put some ag tires on, or in this case, some ATV tires on it, and use it for gardening, use it for farming. I could backblade with this, and I will. And yeah, so I mean, again, is it ideal? No. Ideally, I'd have an L series Kubota with every attachment known to mankind. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in the world that we're given, the one we make for ourselves. And this project looks like it's a go. So let me go ahead. I'm going to take the batteries out. I'll show you me drilling the holes. I'm going to actually pull the rear tires off. I'm going to get this thing up in the air, and that way it'll just be easier for the rest of this. Before I wanted to tear it apart, I wanted to see, is this even possible? Guess what? It's possible. Hang in there. All right, so I've taken off a lot more than I actually needed to take off, but I just want to be able to show you guys what I'm doing here. As you can see, the bracket's pretty well lining up now. I've also got the possibility that I can get a third bolt to go through here. I'm going to get the camera closer and show you what I'm up against, and then we will go from there. I've also taken the battery out, so I'll be able to get to those upper bolts that I'm trying to drill out here in a few minutes. Again, a lot of y'all asked, is this possible? This is like the smallest riding mower that I can think of that anybody might want to use as a tractor, but it's working. And this isn't a Craftsman. You could easily use these on Craftsman LTs. The frame is very much the same, other than the gauge of steel between the LTs and the GTs. So I think other than making one small modification on those, it was no big deal. But again, people are asking about like Cub Cadet, John Deere. and Murray, MTD, Toro, you know, the works. So I'm going to have to say, you know, we're only halfway through it, but sure, we can do this. This is not going to be that big a deal at all. All right, so here you can see my bottom bolt here. It's a little harder to see, but I'm actually just going to be drilling right through there so I can put a second bolt in. I'm going to do this on both sides. Again, I've got my battery out. And I am kind of doing this at an angle, but that's because I want enough meat to actually be able to hold this in place. So I'll go ahead and drill those out now. Yeah, it's going. Okay, and I'm through. So actually, looking at that hole, it might go one size up. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, so let me get the camera in closer if I can there. That's about as close as it's going to get. So bottom bolt, I've got my washers here to space it out and nuts on there. This one is going to go right through there. It's a slight angle, but that's okay. And there it is, right? Lines up okay. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing. I'll get some bolts, some nuts, some washers. I'll space it out so it's a nice firm grip. Tighten it up from the inside. I'll repeat the process on the other side. And we are ready to assemble the actual lift part of this mechanism. This is not taking as long as I thought it would, that's for sure. Okay, as you can see, it is in. It's all the bolts that are supposed to be holding this thing in place are holding it in place. Everything's attached the way it is. The question is, will I have the ground clearance? This looks deceivingly low. It actually doesn't come any farther down than the actual transmission case there. So hopefully it'll work out. If not, I have a few other tricks up my sleeve. We'll have to see how that plays out. But so far, so good. Let's get the wheels back on. I also have to make some adjustments to the exhaust since I had to take the custom exhaust off of this thing in order to get this thing installed. So that was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. Well, there you go. The age-old question has been answered. Yes, you can install Craftsman or Husqvarna sleeve hitches on pretty much any model out there, I'd imagine, after doing this, because this certainly was a much smaller size and much smaller frame package than the LTs or GTs that these are meant to be on. They're actually meant to be on GTs, but I have installed them on LT Craftsmans without any issues. So if that's your question, yeah, no problem. In fact, I got 250 hours out of a K46 transmission using a sleeve hitch. Not recommended, but doable. Anyway, back to this one, this little Murray Widebody LT. It is attached and it is functional. Throw the lever down there. Obviously, if there was an implement attached, it wouldn't swing all the way back over. Now, it does hang pretty low to the ground, but check this out. I'm going to come over here and I'll show you something that I realized while I was finishing assembly on this. Okay, this is really cool. It's not documented in the books, but I guarantee it would work. This pinhole is the same size as that pinhole. I could move this up to here. And then that wouldn't really help me any because it wouldn't change the actual axis, the pivot point. This has 3 holes, and if I needed to, I could actually drill a hole even farther up, move this up as well, and now I'm at a much higher height going up and down. So pretty cool. Not a documented fitment for this thing, but it's heavy. It's not coming off. I'm going to do a walk around here so you can see it. I've got a little bit of wiring, or a little bit of hay baling wire to put on this thing here at the end here to get my exhaust tucked back in. But even it clears just fine. Everything came out wonderful. Let's take that walk around and I'll show you what we got. Okay, here we go. I'll just start from the back here. This is the MUT2 multi-use tactical tractor. And now it is many multiple-use tactical tractor because now I can use it for gardening work as well. So here it is, as you can see, fully assembled. And I think it came out pretty darn good. On the side there, you can see the bolts. One of them is kind of cockeyed from the drilling, but that's okay. It worked out fine. There's my exhaust tucked in. You can see that red wire. That's just holding it where I'm going to actually put a bracket there for it. But I do have clearance, about a 1/2 inch of clearance there between that and the exhaust, and I might tweak that just a little bit, but this is more about the sleeve hitch, so let's get back to the boy at hand here. And this is what I'm talking about here. You could move this pin to here, and then move this to here, and that would probably give you the better angle, though you could probably put one even higher up there if you needed to. if anyone was wondering the size. Now, this mower originally came with 20s, I believe, but I bought 18 by 9 by 8s for this, and they're ag tires, or actually these are ATV tires, but they fit perfectly and they're working well. I'd love to get a set for the front as well, but one step at a time. I never got any ag tires or all-terrain tires on the old mutt, so and it did fine for years, although I never tried to do any serious tiller work or anything like that with it. But this one will get that run. So check it out. Custom exhaust installed, everything's installed but the throttle cable. And you know, the way it's going here, I might just leave the throttle set up the way it is and call this thing done. Oh, you know what else would be cool for this is a snowplow. Some chains in a plow maybe someday. And there's always something cool going on here and there. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. I am Eric, the owner of Farpoint Farms. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it answered the questions that I've gotten over the years related to these sleeve hitches. And best of luck to you. I'll see you next time. Take care.
There's always something that needs a little fixing.